I love language exchange. It's probably the best, most effective and fun way of improving your French speaking ability, whilst at the same time meeting new people and making new friends. However, there are common traps we all fall into after we get that initial buzz of excitement and good feeling from the initial 1 or 2 exchanges. In this video, I want to talk to you about these common pitfalls and then how to avoid them to make the most out of a language exchange from now until eternity. So let's get into it. Salut tout le monde, my name is Alex and I'm an English guy living in Montpellier in the sunny south of France, where I've been since 2015. I'm a self-taught French speaker. For the most part, that's been done the hard way, all self-inflicted. But from that, I'm able to bring you tips and tricks and insights into the French language that the French speak every day, and that's what you will find here on my channel. If you're new, please consider subscribing by clicking that subscribe button down below the video to stay up to date with all my future content. But on to today's topic of language exchange. And so today I just wanted to start by explaining why, after that initial 1 or 2 exchanges, when we're at those lower levels and we've built up the confidence to go and speak at a public event with strangers and we get that rush of good feeling and confidence from it, why that seems to tail off after 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, who knows, it's different for everyone, but it does happen. I felt it. I've spoken to my friends here who are English speaking natives who have gone through it themselves, and I've also found a good structure that works for me to make sure I can make the most out of each exchange and get the most out of it for myself each time I go. Now, language exchanges come in different forms. They're either group events or one-on-one events. The group events, in my experience, can take the form of a casual evening, perhaps at a bar, at a pub, where you are free to speak in your target language as much or as little as you like, and then exchange with another person, and you are free to move around the room as you wish. Then there are also more structured events like WeGoLingo and Franglish, where they're a bit more like speed dating in that you are sat down opposite someone and you speak in your target language for 8 minutes, and then you alternate and they speak in their target language, your native language, for 8 minutes before switching partners. And then there are one-on-one events which you typically organize yourself, and those are my favorite, but I will get onto that a bit later. So one of the common complaints I have had and others have had about events like Franglish or GoLingo are that the conversation is always the same. You go around, you switch partners, and it's often the same topics. This is great when you're a beginner or you have a lot of knowledge but you're a beginner at speaking, you're still getting over that fear. So you get a buzz from it. Whenever you leave, you're like, yes, I've spoken, I've gotten over my fear, I can really give myself a good pat on the back. But very soon after that, you realize, oh, the conversation's not actually that stimulating. I'm bored of talking about what I do for a living, why I came here, how old I am. So the first thing that we do wrong is we kind of get complacent and we think that it's the job of these events to structure our learning. So let's get into my structure for how to avoid this and how to get the most out of a language exchange, no matter the format. And the one thing I want you to remember all the way through this list is that you are accountable for your own learning, your own improvement. Okay, so number 1 is be prepared. Go into the event, whether it be a one-on-one event that you've organized yourself, or it be a event at a bar or a cafe, wherever it is. Be prepared, know what you want to get out of it, make some notes, and that avoids you going off on a tangent during the conversation. You learn specifically what you set out to learn during the hour or half an hour where you are speaking French, and it will enable you to have conversation starters should it lead to one of those inevitable awkward silences. The second point is lead the conversation. Now, this doesn't suit all of us because some of us are more shy, a bit more introverted, but having those notes, having it clear in your mind what you want to talk about, and preferably what you want to achieve at the end of the hour, if you can take the time beforehand to write this down in a sentence, write down a goal, is you can lead the conversation. You can be the one to ask the question, an open question to get the conversation started. And then if it goes into an awkward silence, you lead it again. You make sure you direct it so that if you want to talk about, I don't know, football or art, then you have questions there that you want to practice, or you have vocabulary that you want to practice all written down. So you make sure you start the conversation and you lead it. And try and do this as much as possible until you get to the point where you're switching language and it's the other person to do the same for themselves. Again, you are accountable for your learning here, just like I am and everyone else is for their own. So lead the conversation and make sure you get the most out of it for you. You will leave feeling much happier. The third point is be selfish. And this is really just to drill into your mind that point of leading the conversation. Be selfish. Think about yourself and your goals. Now, like I said before, make it clear to yourself what you want to achieve by the end of the hour, or perhaps by the end of the week, which is something I like to do. You make a goal for the end of the week or even the month, broken down into weeks, of a certain number of words you want to learn. And by learn, I mean study, review, practice, because the practice is practice makes perfect. And then use that in your meeting, as one of the practice sessions of the week. So then it's more tangible, it's more measurable, your success. But be selfish, think about your goal all the way through that half an hour or 1 hour of speaking French. And the fourth point, be consistent. Be consistent. If you do this on a one-off basis, it's not really going to do much, I hope you get the buzz out of it the first time, which will motivate you to keep going. But then this just kind of snowballs. When you do all the previous steps once, you get that kick out of it, you are motivated to go back and get that feeling again. It's like a drug. You want that hit every time. So I really encourage you to do this preparation beforehand, because you will reap the benefits of it each week. And so I've got a few sub tips, if you like, about how to remain consistent. The first tip is put your exchange for the week ahead or even the month ahead into your calendar or your diary, whatever you use to organize your time. That way you will be forced pretty much to not move it around to fit other stuff in, rather the other things will move around it. The more you make it clear to yourself that you're prioritizing your language learning, the more likely you are to stick to it, and the more likely that you will have this long-term lifestyle change put in place. And that is really powerful, I can tell you. The second thing is, put the effort into finding a regular one-on-one partner. If you can find someone who has the same discipline and the same commitment and the same motivation as you to improve their English as you do for your French, that's just a match made in heaven. You're going to push each other, you're going to make sure each other stays on track, and you're going to make sure each other turns up each week. And that is so, so powerful. And the third thing is, have a backup. You never know what's going to happen. Your partner may feel sick one day and then suddenly you've got no practice. So that's why I recommend having at least 2 events you go to each week, so then at least you've got the one that's less likely to fall through. It's much more unlikely that both will fall through one week. One could be an organised event which is more or less always on, and the second one could be an in-person one that you organise yourself. So to sum up, the first step to creating a structure for regular improvement in your French speaking ability is be prepared at a language exchange. Take notes, make sure you know what you want to speak about. Lead the conversation. Have a goal in mind for you and make sure you speak about the topic you have planned to speak about. Number 3 is be selfish. Think about your goal the whole way through the time you're speaking. Always make sure you stay on topic and practice and get your goal obtained. And attained rather. And number 4 is be consistent, which you can do by blocking out time in your calendar, having a regular exchange partner, and having a backup exchange per week so that you always get your practice in. Our time is precious usually during the week, so we need to make sure we give ourselves the best chance of success by being accountable to ourselves and prioritizing language exchange. I don't think you'd be watching this video if you weren't passionate about learning French. I will leave a list of some very useful online resources for finding language exchanges either near you or online, and they will be in the description box down below the video. So, do you have any tips for making the most out of language exchange? What have you found works best for you, please let me know and let others know by putting them in the comments down below. But apart from that, that is all I have for you in this video. I will see you again next week. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up down below. If you would like to stay up to date with all my latest content, please click the subscribe button. And of course, if you know anyone who would get value out of this video, please share it with them. Apart from that, that's everything I have for you. Have a lovely week and I will see you in the next one. À la prochaine. Ciao. Since 2015, where I have, identify the common pitfall.